been witnessing. Anti-Semitism has definitely been a topic of conversation in the wake of the controversial public and social media comments by rapper Kanye West and basketball player Kyrie Irving. Here to discuss more on the topic is Rabbi Mordechai Yosef Ben Avraham. Hello and welcome to the show, my fellow Angelino.
It's a reunion.
How we grew up a few miles apart, and here we are reuniting in the Holy Land. I guess God works in mysterious ways.
And I have the red tie, you have the...
There you go. Yeah. So we pre-planned this without actually speaking before.
Exactly.
So first of all, I'd like to hear, from your standpoint and your journey, when was the height of your journey of discovering your Judaism and going all in and becoming an Orthodox practicing Jew living in Jerusalem?
So I guess the ultimate part of my journey was I went to the Kabbalah Center in Los Angeles. And the ideas that I learned there really just kind of like opened me up to a new reality. And that new reality just led me on a path, and eventually I went through an Orthodox conversion in Los Angeles, and then eventually I wanted to, really learn more and become empowered, so I came to Israel to come to yeshiva, and I've been learning for the last several years, and this year I became a rabbi.
Wow, congratulations. Yeah. What an amazing journey. So, listen, we've done a lot on this topic. We've spoken to the guys in Dimona, and I think there is a lot of historical evidence to the possibility that many African Americans today are descendants of Jews from the Holy Land, even from the First Temple, Second Temple, and whatnot. What do you have to say about now the growing interest in African Americans trying to identify with Israel in one way or another, just overall in the macro spiritual component of it, as myself, a fellow student of Kabbalah?
Oh, wow. So, I think it's an amazing opportunity. And I think this is an opportunity where we can, I think during the 60s, during the Martin Luther King era, there was a very close relationship between Jews and African Americans. And I think, over time, it's been somewhat of a separation. And so I think now, God has created a context where we could re-talk together, and not just from the standpoint of a political standpoint, but from a spiritual standpoint. And connecting the fact that there's many Igbo Jews that are in Nigeria, and many of those people were part of the transatlantic slave trade. And there's always been a tradition in African American culture that we're connected to the Bible and people of the Torah and these types of things. So I think it's a chance to reacclimate, the times from before and making them now.
Right. So what do you make of, the fact that we're seeing, the likes of Kanye doing what he's doing? We've seen, we've been seeing a lot, especially in the past few weeks. How do you explain to the Kanyes of the world, I guess, kind of from your perspective of kind of the truths behind this story, as opposed to it being anti-Semitic, but actually finding a way to come together and really try to get to the roots of these stories and these possibilities?
Well, I think, I think we're in a very strong position, being one connected to the Torah. And I remember my journey when I was first going on the path of eventually becoming Jewish, that I also felt that frustration and knowing that there was more and not feeling like I was a part of it. I grew up with a lot of materialism and had a lot of success in my professional career, but there was still more that I wanted there. And so I think, us being able to communicate from understanding his frustration, and not just tell many people in the United States, but specifically in African American culture, have kind of like reached their edge with, the church and even ideas even in Islam, they're looking for something new. And I think with someone like Kanye West, we could talk to him about the holiness of the Torah and how it connects to his soul. And that's something you'll never get in the materialism world.
Right. How much of an influence, from Farrakhan is still prevalent in the African American community? I mean, is there still kind of a link to that, which would explain anti-Semitic tendencies happening?
I think there was a very big impact in the language that was used by people like Farrakhan and people in that movement, and I think there's still residue of that language, especially when it comes to frustration or Jewish and Black relations. I think Black people in general, I mean, when we get frustrated, sometimes we talk, very loud and very aggressively to each other. And so when that transfers to another group, it could be defined as like hate speech, but it's not coming from that place. I don't believe Kanye West is anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? I don't believe Kyrie Irving is anti-Semitic, but the way they're communicating is, and that's where it becomes problematic for the general population.
Where is the root of that feeling like that everything is the Jewish people's fault? Like, do you know where that stems from?
That's definitely a trope that's been going on for centuries, and it's been going on. It's been a tool that the people in power have always used Jews as a scapegoat. I mean, even in the Torah, in the book of Shemos, it talks about how the new Pharaoh came in and he didn't know Yosef, and he rallies all the people in Egypt to believe that the Jews are becoming numerous and they're taking over, everything, and they may side with our enemies, and so we got to remove them out of power. That's in the book of Shemos. And so from that standpoint, this is biblical, that we've had this dilemma in many societies throughout the ages.
Right. So what is your message to, I think, again, as a student of Kabbalah, we know we are in, many say the time of the Mashiach, Messianic times, that is marked by great polarization. We're seeing it everywhere. As part of your journey, where do you think the solution, solution is not the right word, but you're one of hopefully others with a similar message. How do we come together and be able to talk about this so we don't continue to have generations of hate speech and anti-Semitism fueling social media and the public sphere?
Well, I think, traditionally the Jewish community has not done outreach per se to non-Jewish denominations. We've done kiruv and brought people in that were lost and went off the way, but I think there needs to be a new curriculum that allows people who may not be interested in converting, but have a clear, comprehensive understanding of what the Torah teaches and how it connects to them and how it benefits them, whether it's connecting them to the 7 laws of Noach or actually providing a path for them to go through a transformational process of becoming a Jew like I went through and many others. But I think we have to educate at this point from a Torah perspective.
Right. Amazing. Wow, I could go on and on. Thank you so much. You'll have to come back and we'll have to discuss more
Thank you.
the next time. Thank you, Rabbi Mordechai. Much appreciated.
All the best.